Hi everyone, welcome to Sugar Glider Diaries. I'm Kimberly. Tonight I'm going to be working on a simple pulley toy for your sugar gliders. Well, for my sugar gliders, really. But I thought I would document how I make it so that hopefully you can make it for yours. So all I'm using tonight are just some scraps that I had left over from another project that I filmed. Just some 3mm plastic chain, some heavy duty bracelets. You don't want bracelets that are going to snap really easily, but some nice thicker plastic bracelets, some charms, some foraging cups, a couple 4mm zip ties, 4mm, yes, 4-inch, 4-inch zip ties, and scissors, nail file, and some fingernail trimmers. So you can make a ton of these with very little money and very little effort once you know how to do it. So hopefully you guys enjoy and you can make some for yours. You might even have a tail carrier that you're not even aware of. I have one tail carrier. He doesn't tail carry every night, but he has tail carried before, so I always try to have pulley toys available for him just in case. And if not, they still have fun, especially if you put foraging cups in there. Just kind of, the chains dangle together and they clang together and they make noise. And any textures and things like that are always fun for them to explore. So on my little work area here, I have enough items to do probably 3 or 4 pulley toys, depending on the length of the pulley that you end up choosing. It's important to keep in mind when you're picking your length of pulley that you think about where you're going to hang it from the cage. You don't want your pulley to be so long that it could actually hit against the bottom of the cage when they pull it down. Some sugar gliders like to kind of ride it down like a ride. And if it's a really, really long pulley and they start up at the top and it falls down and they hit the bottom of the cage, they can actually get injured that way. So keeping that in mind, you also don't want your pulley to be super, super long because it can get tangled up around the glider or with other pulleys. So now I just secured a zip tie to one of my bracelets, and I'm just doing that again here, just a simple zip tie, securing it nice and tight, cutting it off, and then filing it flush. There was also a little barb on the bracelet itself that I filed off. Making sure you don't have nice big gaps in there is important because you don't want their little toes to get stuck. The pulley their bracelet I'm using to hang it from is a nice secure, thick bracelet. You don't want anything that is thin. I don't think I probably would really use the kind of bracelets that I even have hanging from there as a pulley for the top, but that's just my preference. And I also was showing you that the bracelets on the bottom definitely can't fit through the bracelet on the top. I want to make sure it's not going to slide all the way out somehow. And now I'm just taking some of those little star charms. They're actually not charms, they're mini links, but most charms don't fit into that. So I'm actually just using those kind of as charms instead of as mini links. And I'm just putting a few stars on the chain just directly above the bracelet. Really, this is just for aesthetic more than anything else. Now I'm going to take a little mini mug, which is just a little mug. It's a little charm that's actually a mug that you can actually hide a treat in. And so I'm just making sure that all the barbs are off of that little mini link there. That's why I was trimming it, making sure there's no rough edges on the mug itself. And then I'm going to just hang that on there. I find that if I put mini mugs and options for foraging, they tend to interact with the pulleys more. And so then that tends to encourage them to actually play with them more. I always attach foraging options wherever possible because then the more foraging options you have, the more variety you can do every night or every other night or whenever you hide your foraging items in the cage. So it's not always in the same exact spots. You have lots of variety where you can hide the treats, kind of like an Easter egg hunt in the cage for your sugar gliders. So that's what I'm doing there. I'm just attaching a charm and a mini mug. The more charms and mini links you have, the more noise it makes when it kind of rattles around, which the sugar gliders also really enjoy. They like making noise. So now I'm just taking another mini mug. I'm attaching it to the other side above the opposite bracelet than we did before. Now I'm just adding my charm on there so it's the same, basically the same look, but also the same weight so that one of the bracelets isn't going to get weighed down. So see how that just pulls through there? So now that one is done. So that's one version, and then I'm going to do two more versions here. So I'm taking the chain. This is a chain that I had not previously been working with, so it needed to be filed down. It had all the barbs trimmed off. So it's really important that you inspect every single piece before you actually end up assembling your toy so you don't forget later on. If you're anything like me, once a project's done, I'm probably not going to remember to go back and inspect it before I put it in the cage. So I always cut off any barbs, any sharp items for file down before I end up using it. So now I am just kind of texting my length, figuring out how long of a pulley I want that one to be. I like to have a variety of sizes and lengths so that I can have more to choose from. Now I'm taking a piece of short chain and I'm actually zip tying it to the bracelet because on this pulley I'm actually going to have some 3mm chain that's hanging down from the center that I hang some more foraging items off of, plus securing the pulley also. So it's kind of a multi-purpose. This is one of those little Shopkins purses. When I secure it on there, I like to double loop the zip tie through the handles. It creates a smaller opening and it makes it a little bit more of a challenge for them to get the treats out. It's big enough of holes that they can't fit their head in there or anything, but it's small enough that it's challenging for them to reach their arm in. So now I'm just doing the same thing I was doing with the other ones, just taking those little C-links, or not, sorry, not C-links, mini links, and attaching some charms onto that middle piece that I put on there. Again, the more mini links, the more charms, the more noise it makes when it rattles around, the more they enjoy it. Also, I think it looks nice. I know they don't really care about that, but I do because it's hanging in my house and I don't see any reason why it has to look ugly. I think it can look nice and be functional. I really like this color scheme I'm working with. I have blues, whites, and blacks, kind of teal blue as well as dark blue and baby blue. So it's kind of a mixture. It's one of my favorite color combinations. Also, I have gray that I'm working with the chain. It's almost impossible to find gray charms. By the way, if you don't know of any place to buy these items, there's lots of different sugar glider vendors that sell toy parts. I will try to remember to list some in the description box below so that you can purchase your own toy making supplies. I'm trying to make a lot of toys that are really simple. You don't have to spend a fortune and get a ton of supplies to be able to make some fun toys. Pulleys are one of the easiest, fastest toys to make. You can see I make 3 in a very short amount of time. These bracelets you can find oftentimes just at Walmart. You want to make sure that they're solid plastic, that they're not the soft kind of plastic, and they're not gel filled, that they're just solid plastic. So I'm just securing that on there with a zip tie. Make sure you file that down if it's not cut completely flush. If it makes a sharp edge, that could be dangerous. Now I'm going to put a heart on the other side also. I like the symmetrical look of that. If you're picking bracelets, also make sure that they're nice and big so that your sugar gliders don't get stuck. You don't want anything besides the standard ones you see us use all the time in toy making, because if they're too small, then they could get stuck in there and you don't want that. So now I'm just checking, I'm noticing that I have two small pieces of this kind of teal, dark teal, kind of gray, whatever color that is, chain that I'm going to then secure next to my chain I already did secure. So then I'll actually have 3 short pieces of chain that I will hang foraging cups and charms actually in the middle of my pulley toy. I always like to, if possible, have multiple functions for one toy. Different gliders have different interests, so it's nice to be able to have multiple options for them to play with so that I can ensure that each toy is going to be played with by each glider. Every glider likes to forage. I haven't found any gliders that don't like to forage, but not every glider is a tail carrier and not every glider likes pulleys, so I try to make my foraging involved in pretty much every toy that I make in some way. So now I'm just adding those little mini mugs that we used before onto, this time not onto the actual pulley chain, but on the chains that are hanging in the center. So each one of those 3 chain pieces has either one of those Shopkin bags or a mini mug. So I think I have 2 mini mugs on each chain, so that would be 5 different foraging items in that one toy, if I remember correctly. I know this part is probably kind of boring to watch with me just trimming and filing, but I think it's really important. I didn't realize when I first started making toys that you were supposed to do that, and so I'm really thankful that somebody in one of these videos did show me, and so now I've been really diligent about doing that. You don't want to ever risk injuring your glider. We're trying to spoil our babies by making these toys. We don't want to accidentally hurt them in the process. All right, so that's that one. Kind of fun. Now for the third one. This is that chain that I think I was gonna use it for the last project, but then I didn't, so I've already actually filed it down. I'm just running my fingers through, making sure that I did actually file that all down. This is a little starfish toy that I got. I made one of those, I don't know if you've seen those octopus toys where you hang the bracelets off of there, and for sugar gliders that are kind of die-hard tail carriers, mine are not die-hard at this point, but they will actually take the bracelets off of the octopus legs and bring them into their pouch. Mine have not done that. They've only done it with the pulleys, which is why I am so into pulleys right now. But anyway, that little starfish piece is from that toy. I just had it left over, and so I saved it. I really save almost every piece. I even save when I cut part of the 3mm chain, and there's a piece that you cut, I cut it in the middle, and then I actually use that as a charm. I save probably too much, but I end up using a lot. So this one, I'm just using the big bracelets like I used for the first one at the bottom. Kind of doing a lighter colored theme on this one, kind of a light teal blue, gray. I could add some yellow since there's some yellow in that little starfish, but I didn't have any on my table at that point, but you could. Obviously, you could add whatever color you want, but again, just using some of those star charms that they come. A lot of times when you order the little mini links from vendors. They give you kind of a variety of mini links that are circles, hearts, and stars. And the stars don't fit very well through most charms, so I end up just using them as charms. Otherwise, you just have a bunch that are just sitting around doing nothing. So I put them to work, put them on a toy. Plus, I think it's kind of cute because it's the stars and the starfish. So. All right, that one's simple. So I don't know if you saw me, but I actually did secure a large C-link onto that star. All right, guys, so 3 simple pulley toys. Basically, you just need something that is sturdy, that can the 3mm chain can slide through. You can decorate the bottom as much as you want. You can put foraging cups throughout to kind of encourage them to pull on the pulley. Or you can create kind of a foraging middle ground and not decorate the bottom. Those are 3 ways I like to do it. And hope you guys have fun playing and exploring and trying new things with your pulleys. Thanks, bye-bye.